You're listening to XVGM Radio. Welcome to XVGM Radio, where the bits keep coming. I'm Mike.
And I'm Justin.
And this is episode 127. Spookyfest 2025. So, yeah, we're doing the spooky once again. It's that time of year. My favorite time of the year. What about you? Is this your favorite time of the year?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Halloween has kind of always been my favorite holiday. I mean, when I was a kid, it was probably, between Christmas and Halloween. But the older I got, even as I, started trick-or-treating less as a young adult, I still enjoyed the season, the atmosphere, and, the sugar.
You know what's the best part about being a dad? You can go trick-or-treating again, and it's not weird.
Yeah. There was a point at which I just stopped caring and was like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever, yeah. You could be out doing so much worse things, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the people that get all angry that, like, there's teenagers doing it, you know, like going trick-or-treating.
So what do you want them to do? Go to a house party with lots of, like, alcohol and debauchery?
Right.
Doing drugs on the street? Come on. Just give them the candy and shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Anywho, speaking of teenagers getting into wild adventures, let's talk about today's intro track, which is from a game called Hotel Transylvania, which is based on the animated movie of the same name. Yeah, the franchise. Yeah, it is a franchise.
Yeah, there's at least 3 movies, and I think they did
4.
Are there?
I think there's 4. At least 3.
I think I've seen the first 2 or 3.
I think I've seen them all.
I think there's also, I want to say there's like is there a cartoon or there's shorts or something?
I think so, something like that.
There's more than just movies, I think.
Yeah. This came out on the DS and the 3DS in 2012, and that track was Cellar by Mr. Jake Kaufman, if you couldn't tell. This was just a random wild find. I was like looking for something licensed and happened to come across this and was like, oh my god, it's a way forward game.
Yeah.
You know, I've looked up some info on the game itself, and you know, you play as Mavis, the daughter of
the lead character.
Yeah, pretty much. And you're just going around. It's like kind of like a Castlevania light in a way, little Metroidvania style game. I think it's like non-linear where you have to like backtrack and go.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah,
that would make sense considering the hotel. Yeah. This is an apt game for that type of thing.
I agree.
What's her weapon? She like whipping her cape around?
No, like she just jumps on dudes, like jumps on zombies and hotel clerks and the hotel zombies and stuff like that. From what I read, it's not a very difficult game, and everything that I've seen, like the reviews paint it much worse than I thought it looked. But I'm also a sucker for anything Castlevania, so like. It looks cool, and this soundtrack is incredible. There's even a track in there that is directly ripped off of Blood Rain Betrayal, which Jake Kaufman also did the soundtrack to. So he basically was like, I'm going to just take this song and put it in this game. So it's in both games, just different styles in terms of like the sound.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But this track, Cellar, was really cool. I love those dark pianos.
Yeah, I was going to say the piano, like especially like the lower end of the piano paired with the bass or the upright bass, makes for some really deep and kind of spooky music, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
The whole track, much like the movie, is a bit silly.
It is,
but it's fun because like it's a silly melody and it's got a very playful tone. But they're using all these spooky sounding instruments, and I love that there's this synth that sounds. I don't know how else to describe it. It sounds like it's got a record scratch effect, or like almost like, you know, if you've got a record playing and then you stop the record, you get that. There's just this sound that kind of happens.
Yeah.
And the synth, like the tail end of the synth, has that quality and that sound to it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's really cool. Like it took me a little while listening to pick up on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really fun.
Yeah, I really like this. I especially enjoyed the very like silly, as you mentioned, the silly kind of synths, you know, with the, I don't know of any other way to explain it, but like it sounds like something that would play in like the Munsters.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got that happy horror sound to it.
Yeah.
Which I dig. So very cool. Jake Kaufman, I don't know, do we need to bother talking about?
Give me one.
Give you one? Well, I just did. Blood Rain Betrayal.
Okay, well then we're done.
Yeah. Not much else to say. We did a whole episode on him back in like episode, what was it, like 104, I think? We did a whole episode on Shantae, and he did all of the almost all the Shantae games.
I think there was one track that we played that wasn't Jake Kaufman. Maybe?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it was episode 104.
Good
so
memory.
if you want to hear more Jake Kaufman, go check out that episode because it's chock full of it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So let's move on to my first pick. This is going to be from a game called AVGN Adventures, or Angry Video Game Nerd Adventures. This came out for the Wii U in 2013, and it came out in other systems later on. This track is called Boo! Haunted House, and it's by DistantJ. Hey, you're back. And that was AVGN Adventures, the track Boo, Haunted House. Came out on the Wii U in 2013. That was by DistantJ. Also sometimes goes by just Distant, but the composer's name is Sam Beddoes.
Nice.
Yeah.
This was a wild one. Very chippy. A lot of that buzziness that I enjoy. A lot of that kind of grindy stuff. Also, the warbling tone that they use. I'm sure this is why they used it, but it reminds me very much of a theremin.
Yes.
Very, very spooky and appropriate. The percussion was fairly crunchy. Like you kind of had the snare that sounded fairly standard there, but there was some other kind of like white noise percussion that was going on that I thought was really nifty. And then even with just that kind of like that ooh that was going on towards the end, the tone itself sounded a lot like Charging the Mega Buster.
Okay, I could see that. I could totally see that. Yeah, that's a good pick. I really love this track. I gotta say, everything that you mentioned about it is great, especially the theremin, like,
yeah.
Woo! Love that. It's so good. I also think the drums are really punchy here, and the bass too. The bass is really fat and thick. It really chugs along, especially when the track really gets going with the chugging. Like,
oh yeah.
It's really, really good. Like, all the rhythm section stuff in this is great. It's heavy, but it's also kind of dancey too, which I like.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a great track. This game, have you played this?
I've played bits and pieces.
Okay. It's really fun. It's really difficult, though.
Yep. Yes, it is.
And apparently that was intentional.
Yep.
They were trying to make a really, really difficult game. So
yeah, well, they were trying to emulate the original NES games.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those just had insane difficulty.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
It's really brutal, but it's very fun. I've never beaten it, but I've gotten really far in it. So there was a sequel that came out too.
I was just gonna say I don't know so much about the sequel. I was wondering if it's easier or like what the deal is.
I don't know. I know there's a new game coming out too that's going to be actually on the NES.
Really?
Yeah, like they're making like a cartridge version or something.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, the game is kind of throwing back to a lot of the references of not only the AVGN, Angry Video Game Nerd, but a lot of the games that he's famously reviewed. Stuff like, each level is a different theme, like Castlevania is one of them. Street Fighter 2010. I think there's like a Silver Surfer. There's Nightmare on Elm Street. Like a lot of the levels have different like influences from various different games that he's reviewed. So yeah, pretty cool.
Nice.
And of course, there's all like the AVGN staples. Characters like the nerd, the guitar guy. The
rabbit.
Which
I think is originally Bugs Bunny, although they probably had to they probably had to make it not Bugs Bunny, so you didn't have
Mike.
Oh yeah,
Mike Matei, the BS man.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff that we talk about with this that we have to censor, like Poop Pickle. He's a character in it, and then there's like other semi-famous or famous people from the retro scene. Like Brennel Floss, Keith Apicary, Gerard the Completionist, Pat the NES Punk, Ego Raptor, etc., etc. So pretty good stuff. Yeah, this game's really brutal. So if you decide to play it, you're in for a rough go.
Fair.
It's brutal in the sense that it's a good game that's just really difficult.
Very, very high difficulty. Which,
right.
That's what they were going for. So
that's it, and that's all.
Good on them.
Yeah. Sam Beddoes. Also known as Distant or DistantJ. Audio-wise, has really only done the two Angry Video Game Nerds and also a game called Psychutlery, which came out in 2024. Yeah, I don't know, though, because I think he just did coding on that one. It's kind of confusing because it says music by, and then it says Jonathan Verge, DJ Yoshi Man, right? And then underneath, further down, it says music composed by Jonathan Verge, Luke Tarlow, Sam Beddoes, and Corey J. Jones. So your guess is as good as mine as to who did what.
Yeah, all right.
That's it, and that's all. Anywho, let's move the festival onwards and get to your next pick. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so my first pick here is from a game that I've been playing recently called the Slormancer.
The Slormancer?
Slormancer, yep.
Okay.
Slormancer. As a game that came out on PC on Steam in 2021. I think it might be on some other things, but I play it on Steam. The track is Welcome to the Academy, and it was by Aurélien Poudat. Welcome back. That was Welcome to the Academy from the Slormancer, the PC game that came out in 2021 and is composed by Aurélien Poudat.
Every time you say the Slormancer, I think the Slawmancer, which makes me think, of coleslaw, like a coleslaw villain.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be fun.
It's better than what one of my other friends heard when I said it. They were like, the Slurmancer? What does he like go around calling people racist? I'm like, no, the Slormancer.
Oh, see, I could take that another way. If I thought of the Slurmancer, I'd think of like
someone who's really drunk and slurs the words.
Yeah, or like a slug or something like that. Yeah,
I suppose.
Yeah. The Slugmancer.
The Slugmancer. I think that's a game. That sounds familiar. But yeah, this is a game I've been playing on and off for a little while. My friend Kit got it for me because I saw that she was playing it and was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
When I first looked at it, it looked kind of like a Vampire Survivors type game.
Ooh.
And it's not. So it's not a Survivors like.
Okay.
It just, the things that I was looking at made it look that way. But actually playing it, it's like an action RPG, dungeon delver. Got a lot of procedural generated stuff. Like the levels, when you go through them, are, I believe the levels are procedurally generated. And if not the regular levels, then the adventures, quote unquote, which are like, there's a number of
So it's a roguelike.
No, because if you die, you die. You
die in real life. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, I was going to compare it to Golden Axe, but that's a side scrolling hack and slash.
Okay, but the levels are procedurally generated.
Right.
Okay.
So what you're going through as you're going through the game. The levels, like once they're set, they are set.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like the quote unquote adventures, they're like the side things that you can do outside of the regular main story. Those might be procedurally generated every time.
Okay.
But you're picking between 3 classes. There's like a knight, an archer, and a mage. And it's kind of a funny game. Like there's a lot of comedy in it. Like you don't come in as like the big hero to save the day. Like I believe when you come into things, you're just like, I don't even want to be involved in this. Like I am not a hero of any type. But you get involved in some stuff, and the person who is the hero of the town ends up getting murdered and turning into a ghost. And it's just like, yo, you're gonna have to do this for me, and I'm just gonna walk you through everything. It's a lot of fun, though. I've been playing through as the knight. You're trying to save this town from the Slormancer, who has, come back to power. He was sealed away long ago, and he's broken through a seal, and he's like sealed off the castle. And the king is now sleeping on a mattress outside of his own castle, and all of the people of the town were just like disappeared, and you need to like go and find them, bring them back, so that you can get a trader who you can like buy and sell items from, a blacksmith who can make you better stuff. And there is this stuff called Slorm, Slorm, that you collect as you go through. And it's a type of currency that allows you to level up your abilities and stuff like that.
This sounds like, the name sounds like something Matt Groening would come up with.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a very silly game. A lot of the music is kind of like this. It's like, it takes place in dark, dreary places. Like the first whole area is a graveyard. The second whole area is a prison that you have to break into to bring people out of. It's nifty. There's a lot to the game. Like you can keep it as simple as you want, but it builds up and kind of teaches you things like, hey, if you want, there's this whole thing that looks like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X that you can use to like boost your different abilities or attacks or scores. You don't have to use it. What it does for you is somewhat marginal, but like it does provide improvements.
Yeah.
And there are multiple ways to play each of the classes. Like when you get to a certain level, you unlock certain play styles that'll allow you to do different things. So it's a lot of fun.
This reminds me musically of something from like Obakedoro, which is I think it's called like bait and switch or bait and catch. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically it's very similar to Dead by Daylight, but it's like a very cutesy, fun version of Dead by Daylight. It's published by Konami, and there's like Castlevania characters in it too, which is cool. But the music is very similar. It's got that like kind of like playful, kind of chimey kind of sound to it in terms of the tone. It's very like, I don't want to say happy because it's not happy, but it's like, it's got that like almost movie soundtrack, like horror movie soundtrack, kind of like a Tim Burton kind of movie a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, that's the vibe that I get from this as well.
Yeah, you definitely.
We're going to be playing a track from that on the Backstage Pass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I would say there are some things in here that sound kind of Danny Elfman-ish. I mean, I know you said Tim Burton, but he doesn't do the music. That's,
right.
It's usually
that's what I meant.
No, I know.
Danny Elfman.
But I totally hear that. I mean, this is very kind of cinematic and orchestral, so that does make a lot of sense. It's a nifty little game. It's also I didn't mention this. It's all pixel art, so it's like
cool.
16-bit graphics, all kind of like top down. But yeah, one of my favorite things about the game is the fact that every level has something in the level, like like either gravestones and pottery or like boxes, things you just break.
Yeah.
Sometimes they drop money or slorm and stuff like that, but you don't need to actually do anything. You just need to walk through them, and they just break with a very satisfying sound. Like the boxes have a box breaking sound.
Okay.
It's very fun, and I don't know why. Like I was hoping there was an achievement for like breaking everything in a level.
Yeah.
There wasn't, but I still do it anyway.
That's that old obsessive compulsive like Zelda style. I need to swipe every blade of grass.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Just real quick about this composer. This is the only game that they have listed. I feel like they're probably a little bit new to the VGM scene, and I'm hoping to see more from them in the next few years. It looks like they've got some projects in the works.
Cool.
I mean, this came out like 4 years ago, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get something else coming soon. So, but yeah, that's about it. What do you got coming up next here?
All right, festival goers. The next track that we're going to be playing is from a game called Carrier, which came out on the Dreamcast in 2000. This is track 23, and it's by Teruyuki, Mori, Toru, Ohara, and Shinichiro Nakamura. Hey there, thanks for joining us back on our Spookyfest 7th anniversary episode.
Yeah.
That was Carrier on the Dreamcast, which came out in the year 2000.
Whew.
Track 23 was the name of the song, and it was by Teruyuki Mori, Toru Ohara, and Shinichiro Nakamura. What are your thoughts on this song?
Spooky.
I agree.
This one, I kind of have a similar feeling to a couple of tracks from our last episode where I was kind of waiting for something to happen. Like this track feels like it's kind of really good at building tension.
Yes.
But I need an outlet for that tension, and I don't feel that I got one.
I do feel like this is a waiting track. This is, you're waiting for something to happen, but I feel like it is the beginnings of something happening. It just never gets to the crescendo, so to speak. So it's just kind of like spinning its wheels in a way. So I do agree with you there. I do really like those piano notes as far as like the instrumentation goes. on this. I thought that was really well done. And overall, I was looking for more like percussion. There was a surprising like kind of a lack of really strong percussion in this, but I also don't think maybe that the track like needed it. It's more just like my wanting it. So I feel like maybe if there was some sort of a backbeat to it, or maybe some kind of pitter-pattering drums, you know, especially being out of the year 2000, like that's the kind of percussion that I expect to hear.
Thinking about when this came out, there's definitely a lot of the year 2000, the distant future.
Yes. Yeah, there is definitely something missing from this track. Yeah. Anywho, so Carrier, it's a survival horror game that takes place on a silent aircraft carrier called the Heimdall. A helicopter is shot down by the carrier's automatic defenses, separating the survivors. And you could control either one of two agents. One is named Jack Inglis, and I swear to God, this is real. I had to look it up. The second character's name is Jessifer Manning. Not Jennifer.
Not Jessica.
Not Jessica. Jessifer. That's incredible. I love that. That's so goofy and fun. They're trying to figure out what is going on. However, they find out that the ship that they're on is overrun by grotesque mutants. They're created by a parasitic organism called Ark. So the goal is to survive the onslaught and uncover the truth behind the carrier situation and escape the vessel before it's all over. The background of the game in terms of like it's like warring territories between the northern and southern countries. It's very much like a war type thing. But yeah, this is survival horror, kind of predates a game called Cold Fear, which also did survival horror on a ship. Also predates Resident Evil doing the same thing.
When did they do survival horror on a ship?
That would be Revelations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out on like Wii U and PS3 and 3DS and all that. So,
okay.
Yeah, cool game. I have not played this one. I own it. Surprise, surprise, but I would really like to play it. I'm just so backlogged with survival horror. I picked up most of the Resident Evil like games on PS4, so I have Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 4, the remake.
Yep.
I have 2 remake, which I finally beat, and then I have 3 remake. So like I'm just overloaded on Resident Evil right now, but I have started to chip away at it. So hopefully one day I can get to Carrier.
Yeah.
The composers on this one, Teruyuki, Mori, really doesn't have much to their name. A lot of their stuff is like publicity, and then I guess they did tracks for Carrier. And then that's pretty much it. I don't even know why they're on here, but I guess they did some music for it. Toru, Ohara, they have a few additional credits, but all voice editing, support, composition, and sequencing for games like Tsuchipai Adventure Doki Doki Nightmare. Their last game was this, Carrier. So yeah, they really didn't do much. Shinichiro Nakamura has a lot more credits to their name. Probably the primary composer on this, if I had to guess. They started out doing additional bass on SD Gundam G Century, as well as the sound editing on Distrega in 1998 for the PS1. Then they kind of bounced around doing some Samurai Warriors stuff. So clearly like a Koei Tecmo guy. Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, Bladestorm Nightmare, just the list goes on and on. They did a ton of stuff, but yeah, primarily they are a composer for Koei Tecmo. They did Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water in 2021. Actually, it was a couple years prior to that because that game came out on the Wii U. But their final game is Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, which came out this year in 2025. So yeah, they are still doing lots and lots of cool stuff for Koei Tecmo.
Awesome.
Yeah. By the way, we have, as normal, we have sponsors for this wonderful outdoor festival, which is totally outdoors and absolutely not in my basement.
No. In your backyard, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Every year.
Except when we quarantined due to COVID that one year.
Right. Then we did it, I think, all via
live
Zoom or something.
Yeah, Zoom or something. Yeah. But sponsors, so we have the NTA Bunker.
Ooh.
So it's 2008 and the world is ending. You know what you need? A bunker. That's right. The fine folks at the Northern Treaty Alliance have their own booth here at the festival, and they're offering a contest for a free post-apocalyptic bunker. Want to avoid the waging wars between the Northern and Southern hemispheres? Don't we all? Hop on over to their booth and guess how many ancient organisms are in the oversized jar for your chance to win. Good times.
Nifty.
Yeah. Speaking of, it looks like we're getting somebody coming over, and I think they look very familiar, but they're walking with somebody who I don't know. So.
Yeah, well, no, I think that's good old Scotty Mac.
Scott McElhone.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, Barf. No. There's no Japanese exclusives over there, Barf. That's just a graveyard, man. All you got in there is some corpses and a couple of stray wall meat vendors. Let's go. I want to head over to the XVGM radio booth to get my track in for Spookyfest. Hey, Mike, Justin. Hey, guys, over here. Hey,
man, what's up? What do you got for us?
What's going on?
Scott McElhone here. Would love to be able to request a track if there's time still left in Spookyfest.
Yeah, I mean, we're fairly early on, so let's go.
For you, anything.
Awesome. Well, I'd really love to hear the intro track from Escape from Monster Manor from the 1993 3DO. Thanks, guys. Barf, I'm coming. No, Barf, don't. Oh, thanks, guys.
Anytime, my friend. This is New Title All, which is from Escape from Monster Manor, the 3DO game from 1993, and it's composed by Robert Vieira.
Welcome back. That was Scott McElhone's Patreon pick of the festival. That was Escape from Monster Manor on the 3DO. Came out in 1993. New Title All is the technical name of that track, and the composer is Robert Vieira.
Yeah.
Very, very nifty. I like the instruments they had in there. You got kind of a harpsichord sounding thing. I'm not sure if it was technically a harpsichord, but it was definitely made to sound like that.
Yes. Yeah, it was very harpsichordish.
Yeah, and very, very kind of classical composition on this. So it feels like something you might hear in an empty, haunted hall.
Yeah, not quite waltz-ish.
No.
But very much harpsichord inspired. So I wouldn't even say, well, it might have been Baroque. I don't know. It was good, though. I really liked this. You know, a lot of the tracks that we've been playing, I noticed, and maybe Scott's on the same wavelength as we are, they've been very, fun horror, very lighthearted, kind of goofy in a way. Nothing super serious or dark so far. Maybe that'll change, but yeah, it's been kind of of refreshing because I know like sometimes we usually pick like some spooky tracks, and now we're just picking some scary tracks instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll kind of be all over the place on this one. There are, I know I've picked a few tracks that are, more on the spooky side, and some that are more on the fun side. But whether the track is spooky or the game is spooky, that's what
the goal.
Is all about.
Yes. Yeah. So, Escape from Monster Manor is apparently a first-person shooter where you are going around this haunted mansion, but it's like 3D. And you are killing all sorts of ghosts and spiders and all sorts of creepy stuff, trying to get out of the house. You have to collect this sacred talisman, which is broken up into multiple pieces in each level. And there's a total of 12 levels until you can leave the mansion.
Okay, so it's the Shikon Jewel from Inuyasha. Got it.
Yes. You have a health gauge, which is a little bit different. It's not the traditional like style HUD as far as that goes. The damage that you incur is visible on the screen to the on-screen hand. So like when you're moving around in the game, your hand is like getting more and more like injured or decayed or decrepit or whatever. And that's kind of like your health bar, so to speak. So a very neat take on the Doom style, which generally would just have like a number percentage at the bottom of the screen along with like a face, that would get, more and more bloodied. So pretty cool. The ammunition is listed as a bar on the gun sprite as well. So no number of like bullets. It's based on, what you're seeing on the sprite itself, which is pretty innovative. It's really cool. Especially for this game coming out in 1993, like that's really impressive.
Yeah. And I mean on the 3DO, I'm not super familiar with the capabilities of the 3DO, but I don't know a lot about it, which to me says that there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, a lot going around.
The game did not get great reviews from what I'm reading, so it's very simple. They say
30 out of 40 from Famitsu. That's 75%.
I mean, GameFan gave it a 343 out of 400. Which what? Why are we ranking games based on a 400 score? That's seriously. So weird.
GamePro gave it an 18.5 out of 20.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's weird.
Everybody's got their opinions.
Yeah.
The composer on this, Robert Vieira, started out, it looks like in 1984, doing sound for Crystal Castles on the Atari 2600, which that's a classic. There's a lot of sound here. It looks like he goes between sound and music on a number of things. First music credit I'm seeing is music by him on The Games Summer Edition, this 1988 Commodore 64 game. And then we've got, Sound on Chips Challenge, sound and music on Blue Lightning. I saw Chips Challenge and was like, oh man, I remember that game. That's crazy.
Huh.
Sounds and music on Gauntlet: The Third Encounter in 1990 on the Atari Lynx. Very much attached to the Atari for a while. Between the 2600, the Lynx, did some Commodore 64 stuff. Then we've got some 3DO here with Escape from Monster Manor 93. And we come up to Killing Time in 1996 on Windows. It did music, sound effects, and video scoring. And then that translates to 2024's Killing Time Resurrected, which I believe is just for kind of the original music being reused. But it's credited as Bob Vieira for sound effects, music, video scoring, composed a track called Here on This Island, and did a lot of other similar mastering stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so next up for me is a game which you wouldn't think would have something horror related. It's from Lupin the Third. Densetsu no Hihou Woe, which came out on the Super Famicom in 1994. This track is called Disaster, and it's by Yuji Ohno. All right, that was Lupin the Third Densetsu no Hihou Woe. Super Famicom was the system that it came out on. 1994 was the year of release. Disaster is the name of the track, and Yuji Ohno was the composer.
Oh, man.
Did that make you want to say, oh, no?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, once again, appropriately creepy. Wouldn't have guessed this came out of a Lupin the Third game.
Right?
At all.
I just came upon this by happenstance. I don't even know why, but I think it was, again, I was trying to look for something licensed, and I found Lupin the Third, and I love me some Lupin, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this track, because I was going through all the songs, and I found this, and it really caught my ear. You know, it's not overly busy. It's a very somber track.
It's a relatively simple track.
Yeah, it's very kind of creepy. I would not expect something like this to play in a Lupin game, so this was a treat, especially for Spookyfest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, with a track title like Disaster, I'm guessing something unexpected happens in the game, and there is just a lot of destruction. And, you know, Lupin and Goemon and, I mean, maybe even Zenigata are just like, this is terrible. And, you know, maybe they team up to take care of whatever happened. But, I mean, that's one of my favorite things about a lot of either the episodes or the movies that I enjoy with Lupin is, you know, when he's just being a goofball and then, like, something happens that's just, like, really just unacceptable, and he's like, you know what, we're gonna flip from the regular hijinks to take down this piece of trash.
Right. So this game is really cool. It was developed by SAS Sakata and published by Epic back in 94, and the whole point of the game is you're climbing a skyscraper to rescue Fujiko, and she's trapped at the top. You will, of course, encounter Inspector Zenigata. The levels are very maze-like. There's lots of computer terminals that you need to access, and you have to like freeze enemies with flash bombs and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. There's also two-sided levels as well, and there's mini-bosses. When you activate the computer terminals, you punch them so that you can progress, which is such a Lupin move.
Really, just like, I don't know how this works. Whack.
And then somehow he makes it work. There's passwords in the game, so if you want to, you know, get further in.
I thought you meant for the computer terminals.
Oh, yeah, no. The level password system, so. But also, the wackiest thing is Barcode Battler 2 is utilized, so that's a peripheral that you can use. You scan barcodes or cards, and they allow you to unlock additional content in the game, I guess.
Yeah. I remember they kind of brought that back for like the DS or the 3DS or
the
DSi
e-card reader. Yeah.
That's funny.
I think I own this one, and I think I've briefly played it, but I will play anything involving Lupin because Lupin is great.
What about this composer?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Yuji Ohno mostly has done Lupin stuff. In fact, they've done most of the Lupin games, starting with Lupin Sensei Hong Kong no Mashu Fukushu wa Meikyo no Hate ni, which came out in the FM Towns. They're credited for the Lupin the Third theme song, as well as Lupin the Third Chronicles for the Saturn, Pyramid no Kenja for the Saturn, again, another Lupin game. And then the final game that they're credited for is Lupin Sensei Lupin ni wa shi o Zenigata ni wa koyo. So,
okay.
Pretty much has only done Lupin stuff. So,
fair enough.
That's how it goes. All right. Now, we do have a sponsor.
Yeah, so we have a sponsor. In relation to this game, Mr. Koichi Zenigata has just handed me a large sack with a dollar bill sign on it to provide this sponsorship message. So the inspector has asked us to put out the word that he's looking for the public's help in catching his constant nemesis, Arsène Lupin III. As you may know, Arsène Lupin, Daisuke Jigen, Goemon Ishikawa XIII, and sometimes Fujiko Mine are international criminals wanted for a number of high-profile larceny cases. Inspector Zenigata has been chasing them across the globe and needs our help. If you have any information that could lead to bringing these criminals to justice, please reach out to his task force at 1-800-255-3700.
All right. I don't think I'm going to do that.
No, not at all, but I enjoy the money. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Zenigata.
On that note,
Yeah.
that brings us to my next pick. We are going to listen to a game that I only recently found out about and thought the music was pretty nifty from. It's called Zero Time Dilemma. This came out in the 3DS in 2016. The track is called BioLab, Annihilation Second Mix, and is composed by Shinji Hosoe. Welcome back to our spooky festival in Mike's backyard.
Oh, yeah.
That was BioLab Annihilation Second Mix from Zero Time Dilemma, the 2016 3DS game composed by Shinji Hosoe.
Didn't we play a track off this on our...
Retro World.
Yeah, Retro World Expo.
Yeah,
we did a panel. Mm-hmm. That's up on our Patreon if anybody wants to go listen to it. We put it up there like last month, and...
we had somebody in the audience actually live request this.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of time at the end. Ed did some digging while you and I stalled for time. He found the track, and it was really cool. And I mean, we even said to each other when we were listening to it, like, this is really cool. And like, this is perfect Spookyfest music.
Yeah.
It's nice and creepy. It's more than just, like empty, creepy sounds. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard of this game. I'd heard of the composer. In fact, I know when June... she mentioned it, and I think Ed right away was like, oh yeah, Shinji Hosoe. I'd never heard of this game or any of the games related to it, but it seemed nifty.
Yeah, this seems like it's right up your alley.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, both in terms of the music and the game.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no, the music definitely. The game, I'm still trying to, understand what these games are. They kind of seem like almost like escape room games or something. And I do like escape rooms. Mm-hmm. I've never been one for virtual escape rooms, but, well, okay, I guess that's a lie, because you could consider the Myst games virtual escape rooms.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, what I always think of is, like, The Room and all of the sequels to that.
Right.
And I did enjoy those games to an extent. But I think I might have beaten a couple of them, but some of them just got really abstract, or I just couldn't think in the proper way to get through them. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Myst, it's not an escape room, it's, a whole world and set of worlds, and there's a lot more exploration than trying to just find things. But in actual real life, I love doing escape rooms with my friends because we're usually pretty good about just being like, okay, I'm going to check this, you're going to check that, and we're just going to put our heads together.
Sure.
And I'm sure we've failed an escape room at some point, but I cannot remember an escape room that we've failed. So
I really like this track. Like, really, really like it. It's got some really interesting percussion, like great use of percussion. I love the almost like pitter-patter kind of percussion that's going on in the middle of the track. That's when it really kind of picked up for me, and it really caught my interest. So, yeah, that was my favorite part by far for this track.
Fair. Yeah, no, I get that. Again, like the fact that they call it, Annihilation Mix, I didn't see anything else on the soundtrack that was like, an original version of the song.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that either they threw these mixed names on them, or maybe this track was in another game, because I believe this is part of a series of some sort.
Yeah.
The Zero Escape series.
Yep.
So it's possible that BioLab was another track in one of the other games, and it was kind of remixed for this.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, I mean, I like mixes. It had kind of a light techno feel, almost like an industrial techno. I don't want to call it minimalist because I feel like we've been throwing that word around a lot in this episode, but it doesn't use a whole lot. Like you said, it's not a busy track, and it doesn't need a whole lot to really get its vibe across. But yeah, just took a look. The Zero Escape series looks like there's 4 games in it. There's 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
Yep.
Is one game that came out in 2009. Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward came out in 2012. Zero Time Dilemma in 2016, and then Zero Escape the Nonary games in 2017.
Okay.
Is actually a bundle containing the first 2 games.
Oh, okay.
So it's
cool.
More of a re-release for Windows, PS4, Vita.
This has some creepy elements to some of the visuals.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the box art for the game often comes up when I go to certain websites, and it's just like, we're hiding this behind a spoiler tag, and then when I click on it, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just not looking at it properly, or there's something that I'm missing, but it's hidden because of sensitive content or something like that.
Okay.
So whatever it is, I'm not seeing it, and that's probably just on me.
I don't know. I'm looking at the North American cover art on Wikipedia, and it looks pretty, I mean, it's a little creepy, but like, it's not like...
Yeah, this cover may contain mature content. Okay, view the content.
I don't see that.
Yeah. So Shinji Hosoe started out music composition on 1987's Dragon Spirit in the arcade. Also the Sharp X68000, the TurboGrafx 16, Tekken 2, 1996 on the PlayStation, did BGM arrangements and recording and mixing engineer. Street Fighter EX2 Plus in 2000 on the PlayStation, they were sound creator. They did music on Naruto Clash of Ninja and Naruto Clash of Ninja 2, both of which came out in 2003 on the GameCube. He's
done so much stuff.
There's so much. Naruto Clash of the Ninja Revolution in 2007 on the Wii. I remember I picked that up. 999, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors in 2009 on the DS.
He did some Beatmania stuff. He did Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a ton.
And the most recent composition credit here is from this year, 2025, Hunter x Hunter Nen X Impact. They did composition and sound production on that game.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Very, very prolific. Good composer. I enjoy the music. I'm going to have to search out more of their stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're rolling into another Creep Fest. This is Clive Barker's Jericho. This came out in the Xbox 360 and the PS3 in 2007. This is Corpse Behemoth, and it's by Chris Velasco. that was Clive Barker's Jericho. That track was Corpse Behemoth by Chris Velasco, which came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 in 2007. I spooked you on that one.
You did. It just so sudden and so loud. And I mean, I know I've done plenty of tracks like that, but when I know it's coming, it's one thing. But that just caught me very off guard. That was fun.
You got spooked.
I did. I got spooked.
So this track was really cool. I really like when horns have that like flutter in them.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, the trill. That's what it's called. I don't know how they do that. I was a percussion guy in band, but I always find that really cool to hear, and it really does add a level of intensity to any kind of musical track that has like an orchestral section. I love those kettle drums in this, just really big and booming. The whole thing just feels like lightning in a bottle. It's really cool.
Yeah. Wild track. So I know nothing about this game.
I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay. What's the visuals that go with the musicals?
Fun fact, I own this game.
Oh.
I haven't played it.
Oh, that is fun.
Yeah, so we're going to tell you all about it. So Clive Barker's Jericho, this came out in 2007. It's a supernatural horror first-person shooter. The reason why it's got Clive Barker's name attached to it is because he created the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a horror author.
Yeah.
So it's got
is this based off of another property, or is this original?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Original thing. So it's a single-player game. It's developed by Mercury Steam, who did like Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, Metroid, Samus Returns, stuff like that. So this game has you playing as a 7-member Special Forces squad, which are called Jericho. And they belong to a department within the government called the Occult Warfare Department. And they are sent to a city that has reemerged out of nothing. It's called Al-Khali. It's a desert city. There's a dimensional breach known as the Box, and it's released something called the Firstborn. And the Firstborn is a failed androgynous being created by God before Adam and Eve, which was cast into the abyss.
Yeah.
So the box contains layers of time, trapping historical events within its walls, and it's got everything from Sumerian times to World War II. And so after the squad leader, Captain Devin Ross, is killed, his spirit survives, and he can possess other team members to continue the mission. So the squad has to travel through these different layers of history to face all sorts of creepy, twisted creatures and corrupt figures from each era, and they have to get to the source to seal the breach.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting story. But yeah, you get supernatural abilities. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Geist in a way, the GameCube game.
Yeah.
But you have 7 squad members that each have their own different weapon and also paranormal powers too. There's a character named Lieutenant Abigail Black, and they're a telekinetic sniper who can guide bullets. Sergeant Frank Delgado is a pyromancer who can summon a fire demon. Corporal Simone Cole is a reality hacker who can slow down time. And you can switch between characters, so at any point in time you can, switch between the characters. So pretty neat. There's also like a revive option in this where like if somebody needs to be healed, you can revive the teammates. So
Okay.
yeah, it looks pretty cool. It got kind of mediocre reviews. Some people said it was kind of meh, like middle of the road. But I don't know, like the concept kind of draws me in, and I want to play it just to kind of experience that aspect.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the team from Hellboy almost.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
It also gives me kind of vibes of like some of the more supernatural kind of shows or movies that have come out like in that time period, like in the 2000s. So.
Yeah. Warehouse 13.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's neat. And I mean, middle of the road isn't necessarily bad. Like,
sure,
not everything has to be
AAA,
blockbuster,
awesome,
like knock your socks off. Like,
99
you can still enjoy a game.
Score, yeah.
That's okay.
I agree.
So, cool.
Yeah. So that's that. The composer is Chris Velasco, and they started way back on Terminator 3: The Redemption in 2004 doing additional music composition. And, they did a lot of licensed stuff like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Jaws Unleashed, Van Helsing, the PS2 game that came out for that, the TMNT game that came out for the 2007 movie, did some God of War stuff, Tron Evolution. Their most recent game is Dungeons & Dragons: The Tyrant's Eye Pro Edition, which came out in arcade for 2025. So they are still making music to this day.
Very cool.
Yeah. So let's go back in time. You've got something kind of old.
Yeah, so we're going to go to a game from 1993 called The Seventh Guest. This came out in DOS. The track that we have is called Downstairs Puzzles-Doorbell. And the composers for this game are George Alistair Sanger and Team Fat, which is composed of Kay Weston Felon, David Govett, and Joe McDermott. All right, that was Downstairs Puzzles Doorbell from The Seventh Guest. That was a DOS game that came out in 1993, composed by George Alistair Sanger and Team Fat, which is composed of Kay Weston Philan, David Govett, and Joe McDermott.
This song kept ending for me, and multiple times, and I was just like, okay, that's it. Nope, it's going to keep going. And I do like that it changes throughout the track. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't stay the same. The beginning part is very jazzy.
Yeah, there's a lot of discord in the beginning, especially with those piano hits where they're not necessarily major or minor. Some of them are just kind of discordant.
I like how they're very, like, harsh sounding.
Yes.
You know, like they're really hitting the keys on those.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of the one thing that, like, does stitch all of these almost seemingly separate pieces together is that constant piano. Even though it changes slightly as it goes on.
Yeah,
only in
it gets less jazzy later on.
Yeah, it gets a little bit brighter as it goes on. Almost like the experience of starting the game and being confused and things being crazy and then, you know, coming to an understanding as you get further and further. Mm-hmm. And perhaps that was on purpose, or maybe I'm just making that up. Who knows? But yeah, no, I just thought this one was cool. I remember hearing this. So I haven't played much of The Seventh Guest. Back in the 90s, I didn't have a DOS computer. I was
you were a Mac guy, right?
I was a Mac user,
Yeah.
so it was considered a more adult game at the time. It's very much a like puzzle game. Like the game of this game are all puzzles. They're all logic puzzles.
Okay.
And the game itself is kind of they call it like an interactive movie game. Like there's a lot of live action,
full motion video.
Full motion videos going on, and a ton of pre-rendered 3D graphics throughout. All of the settings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting game. But I kind of was reminded of this game recently when the Game Grumps played through it. They did a long play, and it was fun to watch because, again, I never really had the opportunity to get into this when I was a kid. There is adult content. I don't think there's any actual, like, nudity or anything explicit, but, there is implied situations. But, yeah, it looked like just like a really nifty game. The puzzles were really cool. They were definitely difficult. Things that talk about this game talk about how it starts out with relatively easy puzzles and they get harder as they go through. But watching through, maybe they did some of the things out of order, but there definitely was a progression. Like you couldn't get to certain areas until you did certain things. And there were just sometimes they came upon a puzzle that I was like, oh, okay, I see how this works. And like, not that it was like super simple, but like some of the later puzzles were almost easier for me to understand than some of the earlier ones. Do you have any familiarity with this game at all?
No, the only thing that I know about this game is that it was a major CD-ROM seller.
Yeah, it was. This and Myst were like the killer apps that got CD-ROMs, blew it up, and just everybody was buying them for these.
That's cool.
These composers, starting with George Sanger. Yeah, George Sanger.
Yeah.
Started out in 1983 doing game music on Capture the Flag for the Atari 8-bit. He's got some Intellivision stuff in here, Thin Ice, Maniac Mansion in 1988 on the NES. Oh, man. This is why I know him. Loom. It's LucasArts. They also did Escape from Monkey Island. I had that on the Mac back in the 90s. I know I played it for an Extra Life a bunch of years ago. I played through the whole thing because you can do it in a couple hours.
Oh, nice. He did the MIDI conversion for Mega Man X to DOS.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then most recently, obviously, the Seventh Guest VR came out in 2023. He's listed as that for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
These other folks, K. Weston Philan, also a whole lot of stuff here. Looks like their first entry is the Seventh Guest. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of Orpheus Curse.
I didn't know they had an Are You Afraid of the Dark game.
Neither did I. I'm just learning this as well.
Okay, then.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah.
And let's see, we'll do Return to Zork in 96 on the Sega Saturn. And most recently, in 2013, they did Blackthorn on Windows. David Govette started out in 1988 on Maniac Mansion doing music. All of these people have so much stuff. I'm just going to pick a couple other things here. Master of Orion in 93 on DOS. Mike's Monstrous Adventure in 2002 in Windows, and their most recent composer credit is Underworld Ascendant in 2018.
Okay, then.
And last but not least, Joe McDermott started out in 1992 on Qbert 3 for the SNES, did the Seventh Guest right after that, did music composition for Zombies Ate My Neighbors, both on the SNES and the Genesis, and most recently, they did Scene It Music in 2006. They did music for that.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I think we have another sponsor in relation to this.
We do. So this is for the Amnesia Hotel. Do you have amnesia? I said, do you have amnesia? Well, you're in for a treat, especially if you're a fan of creepy hotels. Join the fine folks at the Amnesia Hotel because, you have amnesia. They'll constantly remind you of why you're there, remind you to take your belongings like your wallet and keys before you leave your room, and more. Each guest fills out information they will forget because, amnesia. And then the hotel files it away for you. Come on down to the Amnesia Hotel. It's on 7th Guest Way. Actually, I'll just put it in your GPS so you don't forget.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we got your last track coming up.
Yeah, this is my final pick.
This is a good one.
Oh, yeah. I had to throw in some Castlevania. This is Vampire Survivors, though. So it's the Ode to Castlevania DLC. This came out on pretty much everything in 2024. Moonlight Nocturne, we're going to be listening to the arranged version of this. Mishiro Yamane did the original, but the arranged is composed by Danielle Zandara, Filippo Vaccarelli, Evelyn Lark, and Keegan Church. Hey, welcome back. That was Vampire Survivors. Ode to Castlevania. That's the Castlevania DLC.
Yeah.
And that came out on pretty much everything in 2024. That was Moonlight Nocturne, the arranged version. Again, by Michiru Yamane, which we're not going to talk about Michiru Yamane because we've played so much of her stuff, and she's great.
She is.
Danielle Zandara, Filippo Vicarelli, Evelyn Lark, and Kijen Church were the arrangers on this one, though. So we'll talk about them in a bit. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I love it. The game is fantastic. The DLC is fantastic. And all of the arranged Castlevania tracks in it are awesome. This one, so high energy. I love the super rock feel. Some of Michiru's tracks from Symphony of the Night have a similar feel.
Yeah, stuff like The Tragic Prince.
Right. But like this really, really amps it up. And I mean, considering how Vampire Survivors works, everything gets crazy eventually. One way or another, if you make it far enough, it's going to be crazy. And I feel like this really kind of captures that.
I don't think we've played any Vampire Survivors on this show, but I know that you and I are both big fans of the game, even before the Castlevania stuff came out.
Yeah. And our mutual friend Ed.
Yeah,
he's the one
huge
that
fan.
Introduced me to it and got me playing it.
Yeah. I knew of the game. I had it on Xbox like long before the DLC came out, and then I ended up picking it up on, I think, PS5. Oh my god, it's so good. As a Castlevania maniac, it is without a doubt the best representation of Castlevania in any sort of like non-Castlevania release. I mean, they literally put almost every playable character in the game.
Yeah.
You know, like the more obscure stuff is like Sonia Belmont from Castlevania Legends. Stuff like
Shinoa's in there.
Shinoa. I mean, you've got Carrie Fernandez and Reinhard Schneider from the 64 games.
Yep.
Cornell from Legacy of Darkness.
Yep.
There's just so many characters in this game.
And the enemies. I mean, so for one, that map, the Castlevania map.
It's huge. I haven't beaten it. I have not beaten it. I've tried. Not for nothing. I have tried.
Not for lack of trying.
There's certain doors I just can't get into. So that's, I think, my biggest problem, right?
But yeah, it's just, I mean, it blows me away.
Yeah.
Just how much they put into this. How much content there is.
100%. The people that made Vampire Survivors are hardcore Castlevania fans.
Absolutely.
So
that was clear with the original game.
Yeah, I'm amazed. So really, really good. This version of Moonlight Nocturne is just super crazy. It's balls to the wall, aggressive, really high tempo, and just guitar crazy. So I really dug this. This sounds like something that would have been on like the Dracula Perfect Battle soundtracks, like the arranged soundtracks that the Konami Kukeiha Club came out with like back in the day. They're just like these really like awesome heavy metal albums, just like full of Castlevania songs. But yeah, I do love the original in Symphony of the Night, because this track plays during the text scroll right after the end of Rondo of Blood.
Yeah.
So at the end of Rondo of Blood, basically it leads into Symphony of the Night. And so then that leads into this text scroll where they're kind of filling you in on the story and what happened after Rondo of Blood ended. And so that's where this music comes from. So really cool. Danielle Zandara is pretty much just a Vampire Survivors composer. They also did a game called Blind Fate Ito no Yami in 2022 for Windows. But yeah, they've been doing just Vampire Survivors stuff. But Filippo Vicarelli is not. They started off with Sky Island in 2011, then did games like Pandemic in 2016, Arcade Paradise in 2022, Melatonin in 2022, and then they started working on Vampire Survivor stuff up until their most recent game, which is Berserk or Die, which came out this year. Evelyn Lark is our next composer. They did the PlayStation 1 version of Bloodborne, so it never actually officially came out.
Oh, I heard that. That was the demake.
A fan demake that came out, and so they're credited for that. Small Saga in 2023, Nightmare Cart in 2024, and then they did the Ode to Castlevania music specifically. So, really cool. Key Gen Church also only did the music for Ode to Castlevania's DLC.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, we're about to close out another Spooky Fest.
Yep.
What's your final pick?
All right, so we're going to close this out with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. This is a game that came out on the PC last year in 2024. Clownpocalypse is the track, and the composers are Mark Rutherford, Finn Billingham, Aaron Rutherford, and Chuck Phonic. All right, welcome back. That was the last track of this year's Spookyfest 2025. That was Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Clownpocalypse was the name of the track, and it came out on the PC in 2024. Mark Rutherford, Finn Billingham, Aaron Rutherford, and Chuck Phonic are the composers on the album. That track was actually composed by Mark Rutherford and Chuck Phonic, so we'll talk about them in a little bit.
True story.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. It was a little bit silly, a little bit creepy, in the sense that clowns can be creepy, but very kind of upbeat and rockish. What'd you think?
I did enjoy this one. I don't know much about Killer Clowns from Outer Space, believe it or not.
Neither do I.
Okay. So I don't know if this like song fits with the movie soundtrack or whatever, but
I would imagine it does. But
yeah.
Like I said, I don't know much about the movie. I remember this is like a B movie from what, the 80s? Mm-hmm. I feel like I remember it being on some channels when I was younger, usually in the October time frame.
Yeah.
But I was never big on horror movies, so I saw scary looking clowns and changed the channel.
Uh-huh. Don't blame you.
Yeah. From what I understand, the movie, it's a horror movie, but it's also fairly, I don't know if I would say silly. I think it's a little bit slapstick. I don't think it takes itself too seriously. So that's kind of why I call it a B movie. It's not like, a big name trying to make like a seriously scare you out of your pants movie. It's,
right.
It's a weird, wacky, wild movie.
Now, this game, is it like a first person sort of thing, or?
It's, so it's an asymmetrical survival horror game.
Okay.
So kind of like Dead by Daylight.
Oh,
or
okay.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like you have somebody hunting somebody,
yeah,
and there's,
yeah.
Survivors trying to run away.
So in this one, it's a 10-player game. Everybody's together, and then 3 people are chosen to be clowns, and the other 7 are humans, and you're just trying to survive and escape. The items that I'm seeing here all feel very similar to Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. You've got the Clownpocalypse bunker, the boat repair, clown tech portal, gated condemned exit. Those are the escape routes.
Yeah.
You need to collect items in order to activate those routes, like a spark plug, gas can, key card, gate key, stuff like that. The clowns can attack humans with their weapons, like the mallet or the popcorn bazooka. Humans can fight back by damaging the clowns with their own weapons.
Sounds really silly.
It does. Humans also run slightly faster than the clowns, so, it gives you the ability to escape. If a clown captures a human inside of a cotton candy cocoon, the clown can pick them up and carry them to one of the lackey generators scattered on the map. And once all the generators are fully powered by the cocoons, the clown apocalypse is triggered, which kills everybody.
Oh, it doesn't turn everybody to clowns?
No, it just says it eliminates all remaining humans.
Oh, okay. That's disappointing. I thought that they would be turning everybody into clowns.
No, well, the killer clowns are from outer space.
Right, but wouldn't that make sense if it's a clown apocalypse?
Yeah, maybe, I guess. I guess I don't understand enough about the lore of killer clowns from outer
How are
space.
you coming in so unprepared, Justin, that you don't know the full lore of killer clowns from outer space? Come on, Justin.
All right, well, I'll be leaving. I'll see you later. But yeah, it looks fairly fun. Like, I do enjoy Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, with a good group. I've only played each of those games a handful of times, but I have had fun when playing them. So this looks to be fairly similar in the same vein. So if there are friends of mine that are like, hey, we should try this game, I would definitely give it a shot.
Apparently, you can also play as horror icon Tom Savini and Elvira.
Ooh.
Pretty fun.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So these composers will do Mark Rutherford and Chuck Phonic first because they did the track. Mark Rutherford started out doing music on Alien vs. Predator in 2010 on Windows and Xbox 360. They did Sniper Elite V2 in 2012 on PlayStation 3 and Windows. Batman Arkham Origins Cold Heart in 2014. They did the score and additional music. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed in 2022. And then Sniper Elite Resistance came out this year in 2025. Chuck Phonic is also known as Charles Brungart, and he did a bunch of stuff. He's listed for business for Killer Clowns. And interestingly enough, he's not listed directly in audio because he was credited differently.
Oh.
But the audio stuff that he has, he was a performer, writer, and producer for a number of tracks in a game called Nexuiz in 2012. And their most recent audio credit is for Arcadegeddon in 2022.
Huh.
The credit for them, maybe this is listing the tracks that they did. Brat the Bruv, Damn, Selling Me the Goods, Something on the Floor, and a number of other weird titles.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Finn Billingham only has a couple of credits here. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And then Aaron Rutherford, I'm guessing is related to Mark Rutherford, maybe, or could just be totally wrong. Did additional music in Ugly Dolls and Imperfect Adventure in 2019 on the Switch. And then did a bunch of the Sniper Elite games, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, Killer Clowns, and their most recent audio credit is for dialogue editing in Atom Fall in 2025. The most recent music is for Sniper Elite Resistance in 2025.
Cool.
Yeah. So
All
that
right.
about does it.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. We do have one more sponsor here. I'm a little hesitant because I waited too long to get this one out, and I think it's a little silly considering the track we just listened to. But hey, are you throwing a party? Do you want to make sure your party is an absolute hit? Well, there's only one thing guaranteed to have all your guests leaving in the highest spirits. Clowns. Sorry, let me try that again. Clowns. Yes, that's right. Everyone loves clowns, and there's no way children could be scared of these friendly faces. EveryoneLovesClowns.com has all your clown-related needs. If you want your next party or event to be a blast, reach out to Penny at EveryoneLovesClowns.com, and they'll make sure to throw a jamboree that no one will ever forget.
I am very hesitant to go to that website.
It depends on how you feel about clowns, but like they said, everyone loves clowns. There's nothing could ever be bad with a clown.
It's very assertive. Unless you have a clown phobia.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's fake.
Wow. We just lost all of our clown phobic listeners. So sorry. All right. Well, now's the time of the Spookyfest where we pick our favorite tracks. This will be a doozy. I am going to go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, this is tough. I love me some Castlevania. I really do. And I'm not going to pick that because that's just too obvious. I am going to pick my AVGN track.
Okay.
but I also really loved your Zero Time Dilemma track.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Honestly, I'm contemplating the Hotel Transylvania track. That one was a lot of fun.
Great, too.
I thought that was a perfect opener too.
Yeah.
Very, very good pick. Again, obviously your Hotel Castlevania track is phenomenal.
Great.
It's impossible to not pick that. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really good stuff in here. Scott, your request for the Escape from Monster Manor, that was a really fun one. And that Lupin one was very unexpected.
Yeah. All good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your favorite spooky pick? Let us know in our various social media or on our Discord server, or email us.
So, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons, without whom this show's continued improvement would be impossible. They are Cam Worma, Rage Cage, Reptile, Kung Fu Carlito of the Heroes 3 podcast, Scott McElhone, Claire Myers, Brad Austin, Chris Murray, Llama Adam, Red Hua, Nick Davis, Ryan McPherson, and Kitty Sparks.
If you would like to become a patron, you can sign up at patreon.com/XVGM Radio. There you can see the different tiers as well. Just $1 gets you a thank you and access to our monthly live shows.
You can visit our website, xvgmradio.com, where you can listen to all the episodes and learn more about your hosts, as well as any of our guests or composers that we've had on the show.
If you'd like to reach out to us, you can always email us at xvgmradio@gmail.com.
If you like what you've heard, please consider giving us a review on iTunes.
You can join our Facebook group and chat with other VGM lovers at www.facebook.com/groups/XVGM Radio, where we talk about everything from current game news to sharing awesome VGM tracks or just talking about the podcast itself.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle on both those sites is @XVGM Radio.
If you don't have any other social media or just want to try something unique, check us out on our Discord group chat. Links in the show notes. All right, next month coming up, we got episode 128. But before we announce that, on the 4th of November, we'll be listening to XVGM Radio After Dark. We're doing a twofer.
Yeah, this is your pick. So
Yeah.
you had an interesting thought on this one.
Yeah, instead of going with a full-length LP, instead I'm going with 2 7-inch records. It's basically a Konami special. So on one side, we're going to be doing Tiny Toon Adventures. And on the other side, we're going to be doing Biomiracle Bokute Upa. So that'll be coming November 4th. Episode 128 is coming up.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a special guest.
We're bringing on Ed Wilson of Pixel Tunes and VG Embassy fame to talk about a game that is getting multiple versions of the soundtrack for Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Overdrive.
Yeah, Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds initially came out, and then they released Overdrive a little while after that. And then the most recent version is Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate,
Right.
Which is a totally redone version of the game as far as like the engine goes. I think it's all in like Unreal Engine 5 or something like that. But in addition to that, they also redid the soundtrack. So not only do you get wavetable and FM synth soundtracks, but you also get a brand new like remixed soundtrack. And what we're going to be doing is picking some tracks from all 3 versions and comparing them in a special Same Song Different System episode with Ed.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had one that we're comparing across 3 different sounds. So
No.
This is going to be a little different in that I think we're each only picking one track.
Right. Yeah, and an intro.
Because we're going to do 3 versions of that track. So in reality, that's 9 songs that we're listening to.
Right.
Even though it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be repetitive.
3 songs, 9 different versions.
Yeah, so it's FM synth versus wavetable versus what is the?
It's like remix, like
Remix?
like new sounding. It sounds like
and you.
Yeah. It sounds like new stuff. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so look forward to that. We hope you have a happy Halloween.
Yeah.
And this is Mike
And Justin.
signing off for XVGM Radio. Spookyfest
2027. Wait,
5.
2025.
5.
Sorry, I just got back from the future and I forgot what year it was.
Let's redo that.
No, absolutely not.